Okay, so you got your start in art where?
My grandfather was an artist whom I was named after. He was Peter Buwalda Sr. So he taught me at a really young age. I think I was always interested in art, you know, before I even entered high school. So once I was in high school, I was down at OCA, you know, in grade 11, grade 12. I'd go down and check out the studios and hang out and just talk to the students and be like, you know, is this a good school? And, where's a good school? That sort of thing. So by that point, when it came time to apply to college, I had already known that I wanted to go to Alberta College of Art Design and Gallery.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's just one of those sort of lesser known ones, but from an instructor standpoint, it was a fabulous school. So really high ratings from other students that had been there and that sort of thing. So I got accepted to Emily Carr into OCA and was waiting, and finally got got into ACA. So off I went, and so I spent 4 years in Calgary getting my degree and majoring in drawing, and then after that off I went to the Okanagan, because when I was a kid I think I saw some CBC program on how lovely the Okanagan was, how many days of sunshine, so I thought, and so I had a friend of mine that was painting murals, so I was involved in painting murals out there with someone that from a small town she was from, and she said, well, why don't you come and paint murals? So moved to the Okanagan, painted murals for years, and probably involved in about 20 murals. Did a few on my own, did a few just with some colleagues, did a few with massive groups of people, and ended up going back to Calgary, kind of just trying to find a larger art community again. So I spent another year in Calgary, which was, you know, after 4 years in school, I think I hung out with my instructors and I learned more in that 1 year in the pubs with them, you know, not being a student, but just going out and sharing a drink and that, or having them over for a game of chess and a cup of coffee. And so at that point, I've always really been interested in drawing the natural world. My grandfather was a landscape artist. Now I am involved, I'm a little bit more macroscopic in my view of style of my work. But the Okanagan was great, but it was really dry. I have been guilty of standing on the top of a mountain in BC. Of course, I spent a lot of time exploring BC, standing on the top of a mountain saying, I'm never coming back to Ontario.
I did the same.
I found Calgary was even more stifling for the my subject matter, or lack of my subject matter. So, at that point, I think everything was poised for me to come back to Ontario, which is when I met my wife, which is a perfect symbiosis, you know, just being a botanist.
And your wife and family now are who?
Rebecca and Stella is my oldest daughter, and Mildred is my youngest daughter.
Stella is your oldest and Mildred's your youngest.
And they're both amazing. I actually learn more from them now. Mildred, the first thing she does when she wakes up is does a drawing. So. Oh, good. I mean, before she even puts food in her mouth, she's got a pencil and a piece of paper.
Does that remind you of you? Were you the same way?
I try to do that. Definitely going to be starting to, I've always done at least one drawing a day, whether it be a field work or something, working on a more resolved piece, or for lack of anything else, you know, working in my sketchbook on some of the more raw, off the top of my head sort of things, or poetry or prose if I don't feel like drawing. Something has to come out every day. And
then you mentioned you were getting more familiar with Haliburton. You've been here three years.
I've been at Haliburton for 3 years now. We've always been sort of close, but we've been developing our property over Lake of Bays, where we've been studying native plants and indigenous plants of the area. So Rebecca grows the plants so we have to go out and find the plants and seed. And so I basically draw what we grow. So we've moved to Haliburton, and I've been quiet. I've been down in my studio, hiding in my studio for 3 years.